Warning, the video you're about to watch covers a graphic and sensitive topic that includes strong languages and sexual content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Joke yesterday, we pulled the fucking Beetlejuice. It's official. We spoke it into existence. What could happen did happen. More has happened, and it is just quite unfortunate. What is not unfortunate is that TSK is back for the third time this week. It's Rob. It's Dan, DC, not Dan. It's DC. It's Harold. It's the host Mo. Producer Kyle's hanging out in the background somewhere. One of these days he'll actually appear again. But again, Rumble's on Saturday, boys, and I know we're all excited for live reactions, live for this, live this, and then we get hit with the shitstorm. So, I want to say I actually want to say it was maybe like 5-6 months ago, really not that long ago, that we were just finishing up the last Vince McMahon scandal. Vince McMahon scandals are back, and Jesus Christ, has it gotten worse. So, I have to read this post. This is a post by WrestleOps on their Twitter. It is taken from the Wall Street Journal. I will read it as such. A woman received a payout from WWE boss Vince McMahon, has accused McMahon, the company, and former executive of sex trafficking in a new lawsuit that raises questions about the breadth of an internal company probe conducted by a law firm last year. Janelle Grant, a former employee of WWE headquarters, said in a lawsuit filed Thursday that she was abused and sexually exploited by McMahon while he was chief executive. She alleged that McMahon lured her with promises of career advancement and then allegedly exploited her and trafficked her to other men inside of the company. We'll get into who in a little bit. The lawsuit filed in a Connecticut federal court describes a graphic detail of Grant's account of interactions with the businessman and TV personality. She alleged that McMahon and other WWE executives locked her in an office in WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut on June 15, 2021 and took turns sexually assaulting her while other staff members were working. In the middle of another workday, June 23rd, 2021, McMahon locked Grant inside of his private locker room in WWE offices and forced himself on her over a massage table, the lawsuit said. Later that day, McMahon's personal assistant delivered $15,000 in Bloomingdale gift cards to Grant's office. The suit also includes screenshots of exclusive text messages that McMahon allegedly sent to Grant. A May 2020 message said, and I quote, "I am the only one who owns you and controls who I want to fuck you." Unquote. This, again, by the Wall Street Journal. We said he was a dirty old man. We had the whole thing. We did the whole ramble about it. And it has officially gotten 1,000% worse. And I mean 1,000% worse. We have spent the past, call it 6-7 hours, reading this lawsuit. You can't call it allegations. I mean, yes, they are still very much allegations. Let me correct myself. They're still very much allegations, but this is a lawsuit within the federal court, and it fits. The boot fits, boys. The boot fits. And it fits a little too well, and I don't ever want to see these boots ever again. No. So, before we get into even more graphic of the details, because we do have to talk about some of these other executives and superstars involved. I need initial reactions. Rob, I know that you literally just got done.
If I can just add real quick.
Go ahead, DC.
Folks, if you're somebody that has a problem with this kind of content, this may not be the video for y'all to watch.
I appreciate that. There will be a lovely viewer discretion right in the beginning of that. Thank you, D. We appreciate that. We don't want to scare anybody away. That is not our job. Our job is one, to have fun, but is to also educate. Thank you, DC. Is to beautifully said. Is to also educate. And unfortunately, there is a bad side to wrestling. There is a bad side. So, Rob, again, you just got done knocking out another show with the Blackhearts. Initial thoughts, initial feels.
You know, we've been chatting this up for about a good probably 12 hours. You know, in our own personal chat, and just you know, you think things couldn't get any worse, and somehow they seem to, which only kind of leads us to believe, which we were talking about before we got on air here, was how much worse are they? Like, is this poor girl obviously went through some hell, but is she the only one? Were things worse for her? Like, we literally don't know. It can get so much worse than what we've expected, and it's all going to come to light, I'm sure. I mean, nothing stays in the darkness forever.
No,
no matter how hard they try, it's all coming to light. DC, we've been down this rabbit hole before. You were already talking about, you were already throwing out the expletives. Give me your initial thoughts and feels on this whole thing.
You know, I wish I could say that I was surprised. You know, I really wish I could say I was. You know, and I guess I look at it like, you could tell the guy does not give a shit about anybody but his own self. You know, how can you go through with this behavior and then be around your granddaughters and be okay with this? Like, to me, it's beyond disgusting. And knowing that I give this girl credit for having the courage to come forward.
Yeah. 1,000,000%.
And what I wonder is, if she had the courage to come forward, who else didn't?
Yeah, how many more are in the closet is the big question at hand, and hopefully we don't find many more, but at this point I think we're literally asking for it at this point. But I want to ask Harold, because again, everybody's touched on it so far. You were the one that actually reached out. You called. You wanted to know. Can we get a comment on what had happened, or are we going to get a comment on this? And their official statement was no comment.
Hello, law firm. How may I help you?
Hello, I was seeing if anybody was available to comment regarding the current case against the WWE.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not handing out no comments at the moment, but I can take your information and pass it along to one of the attorneys if they'd like to get back to you on that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as my first initial reaction goes, we all knew Vince as the dirty old man. We all kind of had our expectations and assumptions. Personally, human trafficking, when I saw those words, I was taking a step back. That is not something I expected. Yeah, it definitely paints a picture. I was at a loss for words. That's just, I get reminiscent of like Bill Cosby's situation, but this seems so much more just deeper, depraved, how much further it could go. It just, it took me back when I first heard about it. It's just not something you want to hear.
No, yeah, and again, you put it out beautifully. We're barely scratching the surface. We only can know, as DC says, as you have just pointed out, how much worse could this get? you know, and we know it's coming. How many more were involved? Hopefully not too many more, but hopefully those brave souls come forward. And it's utter heartbreaking to be an outsider looking in. You know what I mean? To think that even us at one point in time, I know we have all joked about, hey, WWE, give me a job, we can book better, blah 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 blah. But that's been let's be honest for a second. It's been one of those little dreams of ours. You know, maybe we could be that wrestler that never could, or whatever. Maybe we could just work on the inside. Maybe I could just set the ring up. You know what I mean? I just want to be a part of the company. I just want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? But if this is what it takes,
No.
If this is what it takes to be a part of this company, I don't ever. It makes me, and I have to say this. And for those that love wrestling outside of this company, I'm sorry, but this makes any job in professional wrestling, not just WWE, in professional wrestling, look bad.
You know, and
Because we have to remember the Me Too movement. We have to remember all that stuff that happened back then in 2020. How it's obviously continued with Vince at the top level, as they say. So it's like, go to Japan or wrestle in your own backyard,
or
Like,
try and get in with AEW or TNA, or I guess.
I mean, it's hard.
To me, to kind of give us a second thought as to everything, I'm reminded of previous scandals. I mean, that Vince wasn't a part of, but that he helped cover up. Like, if you seriously take some time and kind of go down the rabbit hole, like, there's videos on YouTube talking about it. Like, I'm not going to bring it up here because this is not the time. We could spend hours just talking about this, but you always hope. I mean, I'm the kind of guy, you guys know, I'm the kind of guy, I try to think the best of people.
Right, try to be positive.
And I guess, like, I had hoped that he wasn't this bad, but and I heard sex trafficking, and I thought, no. Yeah. And then I read it's like, yeah,
that was.
It's hard words, man. Again, like I said, it paints a horrible picture. I'm trying to explain this to my wife on the outside looking in, because obviously she's questioning the TSK's. They're doing a lot this week. What's going on? It's the TSK is getting paid. I'm just joking. Obviously, we're trying. Got to make a little bit of funny right here. Got to make a little bit of funny. But in all reality, it's like the news is popping, the news is happening. But it was this one right here where it was like one of those shows. I wasn't dreading coming on here, but it's like, did we really need this right now? 2 days? 2 days before the Royal Rumble? Less than 24 hours after the sale to Netflix. Less than 24 hours after the announcement of The Rock, joining the board of directors. The bloom of the possibility of Okada coming in. All of the great, that shining light that almost never shines on WWE from the outside perspective is shining, baby. It's shining. And then here comes fucking Vince, and he kicks the generator like he's playing fucking Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
It's
tarnished the news that we
fucking,
got.
Seriously,
we were hopeful for a new chapter in WWE. Where are they going to go with this whole Netflix endeavor? And now it's like, do I even want to be interested in this product anymore? This guy that's involved. Anytime I watch it now, you're going to think about all the little things that Vince used to do, the things he used to produce. It's going to be hard to watch the product now, at least personally.
I'm right there with you. I can only imagine myself deciding to go back to the Attitude Era and just being like, I understand what he's thinking now.
Yeah.
There's actually a promo with him and Stephanie going around on Twitter right now where she talks about going out with businessmen, and these businessmen were telling her that what her dad told her they were gonna, and it 21 years later, it doesn't even seem like a promo anymore.
I mean, let's also not forget there was a number of years back. I think it was shortly after she had her first daughter. She went on the Howard Stern show and admitted that when she and Paul Levesque, Triple H, went and they told Vince the exciting news. Your first time parents. Rob, Mo,
Yeah.
you guys know you're excited.
Yeah.
You're
Hell
excited,
yeah, dude.
and to give that news, and what's Vince's reaction? Oh, turn it to a storyline where I'm the father. Like
It
scumbag.
just makes no fucking sense.
Scumbag.
Yeah, now you kind of see where these ideas came from. You think like, oh, Vince was just willing to push the envelope. Like the boy was in the envelope off the ledge.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah, bro.
The Katie Vick angle from SmackDown years ago. You can't tell me that wasn't his idea.
I mean, it obviously was, and at this point, there's probably a goddamn horrible story behind it, and I have to use that as a segue because I had mentioned out as in the Wall Street Journal post that there was other executives and superstars involved. Now I have to go back to the fun reading again. Back to the Wall Street Journal in July of 2021. The suit said McMahon instructed Grant to create a personalized sexual content for a WWE superstar he was trying to re-sign. The suit did not name the professional wrestler, but described him as both a UFC fighter and WWE talent. People familiar with the matter identify the wrestler as Brock Lesnar, one of the WWE's biggest names. Obviously, he refused to comment, but he was shared explicit photos with her. He liked what he saw, and after the star agreed to a new contract, McMahon tends to Grant August 2021 and said a part of this deal is for him to fuck you.
That's the trafficking.
And that's thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is where the trafficking comes in, but the and I have to take a breath because this is gut turning, even for anybody. This is just I as much as I want to be like I can't see this old man in this light. It's I get it now. I understand I'm slowly starting to understand. I could barely grasp it. Let's be honest here. I think none of us really could truly grasp the fear and the anxiety these women had gone through. But I'm slowly getting a taste of it, and it turns my stomach. It turns my stomach. So we talk about the superstar, now the executive, and as much as nobody is supposed to look like a hero, he looks even worse. And we're talking about Johnny Ace, talking about John Laurinaitis. For you ladies out there that are finally listening to us, thank you for kicking it with the TSK first and foremost. But we're talking about Nikki Bella's stepdad. And this man, in all part of the suit, actually, and one of the ones had talk about it where he and Vince McMahon took turns forcing themselves on her, telling her no means yes, and saying things like, take it. So it goes from top superstars trying to be re-signed to executives to his own daughter, Stephanie McMahon, starting a special committee to try to figure out what's going on in my dad's company. To then reimburse WWE almost $15 million because they did nothing. All they did was cover up her dad's doings. Mm-hmm. We've already tapped on it. We've tapped on it. How deep does this rabbit hole go? How deep does it go? If Stephanie's involved, how far away is Trips? If Trips involved, how far away is? And I hate it. I love Shawn. He's a God-fearing man. But how far away is somebody like a Shawn Michaels?
Here's a question.
Like a road dog.
Here's a question I want to pose. We all remember what I'm pretty sure Nick Khan is probably connected. He probably knows some dirt. But here's a question: if you remember, think how much good publicity they got when they named her as a co-CEO.
Yeah. And
then when Vince came back, it was like, oh, nothing's going to change. She's still going to be there. And then just randomly resigns. And she's not been backstage.
Nowhere.
She has not been anywhere near the company.
Yeah, nowhere near it.
What I'm wondering is, what did she find out?
again, if my stomach's being turned and we're all a little sick right now, I can only imagine what she had gone through. So again, I gotta keep asking because that's the whole point. I've educated the people. Now we must react to the education of the people. Rob, we see how far the rabbit hole is going. How much deeper do you really think it could be? Do you think that this was a ploy by Vince to keep executives and wrestlers using these attractive women?
I absolutely do. And I really think this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is only so much worse. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, with, not everything stays in the dark forever. These things are going to come to light. I had made the comment the last show that WWE is pretty much dummy proof to fail now. In less than 24 hours, that got tested.
Yeah.
Like I said, we
We've got
Beetlejuiced you,
things
baby.
like this coming out 2 days before one of the big 4 pay-per-views. Not even 24 hours after monumental news of the Netflix deal and, The Rock joining the board of directors. You start to really think back to things over the last couple of years. Stephanie selling all those stocks, Shane selling all that stock. I think even Nick Khan and Trips even sold some stock.
Yeah.
Which leads
we
me
always
to
wondered
believe,
why.
what did they know? Or what did they find out? And still voted Vince.
God, it's
and
fucking
still
scary.
voted Vince back as chairman.
Well, technically,
I
with
think
that,
kind
Vince
of
had
then-
had controlling interest. Use that to get 2 loyalists back on the board to be able to put him back.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see. Yeah,
So-
that's where it gets crazy.
And I think part of it is, I'm sure there's more out, because if you remember, and I said this to you guys, it was said months ago, I think it was when he was forced out, I said that there is information that is not public that would make the previous allegations even worse. Is it this? Is this it? Or
I'm sure this isn't it, but I'm sure we're definitely on that path.
Right. One thing that I was thinking about was, first of all, the way Vince's behavior has continued since information has come to light regarding the lawsuit. It remorseless might be the best way to put it. He kind of finagled his way back into his position. He even got promoted to a higher position. So on that perspective, it just seems to be no relenting from Vince, despite the fact that he knew all of this was out there and that it was possible to come to light and that he was doing all that.
the thing I want to pose, Vince is not a stupid guy. He's not. What I would not be shocked, who else was involved in this? And if I'm Vince, I'm using it as blackmail because he's probably got proof on people.
Oh yeah,
bingo. And I wanted to touch on that because you guys were beautifully going around talking about the loyalists, the guys that were going to vote Vince back in and give him a higher position. That was my immediate question: is Vince is gone? Why bring him back? What does he have on you?
Mm-hmm.
Or are y'all in this together?
Yeah, I mean,
how deep in the executive train? Oh God, I shouldn't use that word. How deep in this executive building does this go?
One of the text messages that I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes, Mo, but one of the text messages I thought that was interesting to kind of tie in who's involved with the John Laurinaitis situation. McMahon kind of has this exchange through text message where it's, again, an instance of trafficking where he's like, Laurinaitis wants to know if we could schedule Tuesdays, I think he said, and Saturdays occasionally, and possibly Thursdays. He would like all of the above to happen. Let us know what works for you. Like scheduling with executives, like consistent dates for them to just abuse this person is just like it's a business agenda and they're planning it out. And I've got some time.
Yeah,
for
go
you
play
in here.
tennis on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
If you guys remember, over the summer, remember the feds raided Vince's house.
They did.
Yep.
And we never heard anything more about what it was about. Was it related to this?
I mean, it kind of has to be in a little bit, because there was one thing that I did not touch on, and that Grant was given a secret $3 million settlement to keep hush-hush. So,
Yeah, she signed an NDA.
And she signed an NDA. So we're talking giant money and an NDA. So I literally keep asking this question of how deep this rabbit hole goes. I'm at the point of who's got the fucking shovel and why won't they stop digging? That's where I'm at right now. It's obviously happened to more women. I can't wait for them to come to light, because this needs to go away now. Vince, and unfortunately, for probably the time being, anybody with the McMahon name needs to go away, stay away. And now this question goes to y'all. Does that mean the likes of Triple H, who just helped bring this company back, does he need to go away?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
I agree.
You know, honestly, if I'm Ari Emanuel here, I'm in damage control mode right now.
Yeah, seriously.
And as much as I hate to say it, and I'm a Triple H guy, you know, I love what he did with NXT. You know, it feels like the product is finally starting to turn around and get in good places. But Vince needs to, get rid of him. At the very least, get rid of him. And if I'm Ari Emanuel, I'm flying out to was it Tampa for Rumble? Yeah. I am having a closed door meeting with Paul Levesque. I'm not even going to call him Triple H at this point. He's Paul. And I'm having nobody else there. And I'm looking at him and I'm just saying, you need to tell me right now everything.
Yeah, everything you fucking know, bud.
I don't care how bad it is. I need you to tell me right now. If you're not going to tell me, consider yourself relieved of duty right now.
Who's to say that hasn't happened yet, though?
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, again, we've been researching this topic since I originally had sent the leak out. What was that, around 8 o'clock this morning, 9 o'clock this morning? It has been almost full 12 hours. I'm sure everybody and their mother has been spoken to, and I'm sure now we're down to the who needs to go away and go into hiding. And I am more than inclined to agree with you guys. It's anybody with the McMahon name or is associated with the McMahon name needs to go away right now. They just do. And whether that means Paul comes back, and I'm sure that maybe he can. You know, again, we don't know how far he's into this, you know what I mean? For all we know, Stephanie was just playing cover-up. That doesn't make it any better.
Right.
It really doesn't make it any better. But it's one of those situations where it's like you weren't exactly... Oh, God, I'm going to make it sound worse. But I just feel like if they go away now, Stephanie's already gone, so that's a great thing. Shane's been gone forever. That's awesome. Now, if Trips just slowly goes into the fucking depths, I don't think anybody will really say too much. But I also think at that same point, it'll be full-blown open season on what was at one point in time the fucking dummy-proof WWE.
You know what? And people say, well, what do you do for creative? I already have that solved.
Oh, there it's us, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Paul Heyman.
Mm.
Put Paul Heyman in charge of creative. If I'm Ari Emanuel, what I'm doing right now, I'm going to Triple H and I'm saying, look, until this gets cleared up, you are suspended indefinitely. Get out.
Well, let me ask you this. There's a text message in the lawsuit that was released today detailing Vince McMahon talking about a situation where he was discussing trafficking this woman to his tech team. This tech team, they aren't identified anything more than the tech team. So they could be production tech, they could be editing tech, who knows what kind of tech crew this was. But essentially, he is talking about trafficking this girl to the tech crew. He takes a hand count of who is interested in having sex with this woman that he's describing, will do anything for them, will take 3 on at a time. That is the requirement, that it has to be 3 at a time. And she wants to do all 12, sorry. So if Vince is talking with his tech crew about this, and this is just tech crew, these aren't executives, these aren't his family members, these aren't people he's technically known for years, these are just techs. There's no way Triple H, Stephanie, some of the big name workers have not encountered Vince being this way in front of them. If he's doing it in front of techs, a team of techs, he's doing it in front of everybody.
Kevin Dunn?
Yeah, he's the no shame old man. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Paul
Kevin
Heyman.
Dunn? Yeah.
Paul Heyman's, I'm sure, is in creative in somewhere. You don't think Paul Heyman's around techs when Vince is talking to techs?
It's a dirty
How long
rabbit
have
hole.
they even been TKO? It hasn't even been a year.
No.
Not even a year.
It's been like 6 months.
Yeah. See, that's...
I think just barely 6 months at that. So yeah, it's crazy. We go from the highs of highs, the excitement level at a 10 even, and now I kind of don't want to open my phone tomorrow. Out of fear, because this is not just on Wall Street and CBS and CNN and Fox and Twitter. It's on Bleacher Report too. It's on your regular sports apps. I'm sure it's on ESPN if I turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the problems just fucking continue. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so we could literally keep rocking. We could keep going. We could talk about who would take over booking. We could talk about this. We could talk about that. But I do want to leave on some positive. I want to get out of here on a positive. And the best way to do that is to say that we're going to leave this one alone for the rest of the day. If it comes back with some more, we will come back with some more. But let's talk the positives. Boys are going live for Royal Rumble. Okay, live reactions, live review, all good stuff. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully these motherfuckers don't come out of nowhere with some more bullshit, and we can have some fun. So we apologize for the topic of the evening. We hope that you enjoyed it for what it was. We hope that you're educated. We hope that you don't ever apply to the WWE. We're sorry for all you independent wrestlers out there, but I know AEW makes good money, so hey, head on over to them.
Hey, Impact's got money
and
now.
I guess just... Hey, Impact's got some money. There you go. There's places to go, boys and girls. There's places to go. Just don't go there. I didn't know it was the end all be all. There's so many questions, but again, this.
Also, want to add, if you're in this position, tell somebody.
Yes, we support you.
Tell a friend.
Yeah.
Make somebody listen.
Heard that, bro. Dude, trust me, it is not. You should not be embarrassed. You should not feel ashamed. This was not your fault. Get help. Ask for help. Do not be afraid to reach out. Speaking of reaching out, the boys have been doing some stuff on their own. Let's reach out to them. Let's ask them what they are up to prior to our fun Saturday adventures. Rob, I literally just spoke about it. You literally just got done talking to Nicola and Mike Larkin. I really want to text Nicola right now. Just got an awesome midfielder on loan. Good for her. Go Hammers. But besides the wrestling Blackhearts or
so
I forget the name of the show.
Blackhearts.
What else is
Deep in the Heart Wrestling podcast with myself.
There it is.
The Demoness, Nicola McDonald, and Mike Larkin. Check that out over on Mike Larkin's YouTube page. We got some other things in the works coming up. I'm actually working on a documentary, I guess you want to say. For those of you that don't know, I'm a cancer survivor. 3 years in remission.
Hell yeah!
So I'm starting a documentary to kind of tell that story. Also, some other things with music, some drum lessons, online drum lessons, online guitar lessons, things of that nature. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna get educated, but most importantly, we're gonna have some fun. So any of my social links,
educated,
Linktree / Hey It's Rob. Come say hi.
go say hi to Rob. DC, God, there's so much going down. You and Mike Larkin are doing stuff. The Pile Driver Pundit's happening. The Max Wrestling stuff's on a break for now.
I'm recording tomorrow, episode number 4 of the Pundit. Been battling a cold, which, we got a lot of snow up here in Buffalo, New York.
Got the snow.
Got to head to shovel and, got a little bit of a cold, feeling better. So, gonna be recording tomorrow, dropping tomorrow. I do not want to touch this subject. I will not be touching this subject at all. I just feel dirty. So on a positive note, I'm going to be dropping that. I'm going to be talking about WWE 2K24 and what a lot of people were initially saying, it's just going to be another yearly game. Now they're saying this is going to be a generational game. Tony Khan, take notice. This is how you do a game.
This is how you do it a game. Speaking of stuff, how you do. The editing life is not for the weak. How goes it, Harold? What's happening? When's the new TSK Adventure's going to drop?
You know what? I'm trying to work on Greystone still. If you're familiar with Greystone Mansion, it is famous for so many movies. Big Lebowski, Ghostbusters, National Treasure, X-Men. It's been in Meatloaf music videos, Mariah Carey music videos. It's just on and on. Batman. So working on that, trying to get this clips synced up with that. While I was doing that, found some old 80s film locations videos that we didn't produce yet. So throwing those together. And then hopefully getting together with my boy DC, and we're going to be doing some Oscar coverage, going over our favorites and who we think might win and take the Oscars.
Shout out Oppenheimer.
Right. That's right. Stay on the lookout right here. Stay on the lookout all in all for the TSK goes to the Oscars. I like that. I like how the way it rings, I like the way it sounds. It's going to be good stuff. I'm excited for the Oscars. I'm excited for the Royal Rumble. I'm excited for some footy as the FA Cup happens. Manana and my boys play City. I know none of y'all give a shit, but I'm excited. It's going to be fun stuff. Got my head coach for the Chargers. All this stuff is good. And I say all this because not only does the Mac stuff drop, and it's going to end up dropping late, so don't be afraid of that. It's going to be already right here. There's going to be fucking 3 episodes, but dropped in one day on the Mac Wrestling site. But KTN Sports is another place to check out for especially some die-hard footy talk. So go hit that one as well. We appreciate y'all hanging out. We apologize again for the last time. We apologize again for the graphic nature of this video. However, we're here to educate you. We're glad and happy to educate you. Now, we hope to see you on Saturday to come back and have some goddamn fun with us, because this shit was depressing. Boys, let's too sweet them out there. Let's send the family some love. Let's catch them on Saturday.
We didn't put this in, but also Brock's been pulled from the Rumble.